The 13th floor. The 13th floor.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. I'm your moderator, B. Jones, and we got a very, very special show lined up for you tonight. We're going to be flying off the cuff. Plus, we got a new member to the team. We got I can't say guest, but a new staple on the podcast, Mr. Kenneth Emeghebo. I told you I was going to butcher it. I told you.
I was with you.
Emeghebo. There it is.
Yes.
Kenny Emeghebo joining the podcast this week, man. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Great, man. We're going to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself in full length a little bit later, but I got to go around the horn. Mike D down there. You excited, huh?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. My eyes.
Mike D has just been introduced to the city girl, so I mean.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Parental advisory.
Somehow we getting explicit every week anyway, so.
I told y'all, man, it's the way SoundCloud and iTunes work, so we may as well give them what they asked for, right?
Right.
Wow.
Jay Dace, what's happening, baby?
Going on, man? Another beautiful day in paradise.
It's been a minute, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I had to, take a hiatus real quick, but
My God. It has arisen.
I had to take a quick hiatus, but I'm feeling good, man. Good to be back.
Glad to have you. Faison, what's happening, man?
Hey, life, all good, man. Just enjoying. I'm home alone with the boys today. The wife's at a meeting, so got full attention. But you may see me jerk every once in a while to the monitor because Namdi's coughing. But yeah, I'm good though. I'm real good. I'm happy to be here. Happy. I missed last.
Namdi, so have you been sick already, or are you going to catch his sickness once he's
No, I don't think it's even that kind of, it's a kind of dry cough. It's not really wet yet, so there's no germs really coming around. He's okay. I think it's just the weather and a little bit of allergies, so it's fine.
It doesn't matter. That coconut oil will take care of that anyway.
Boom, every day.
There it is.
Right through.
Absolutely. And the man, Coach K, what's happening, bro?
I'm here, man. I'm here in the post record-setting Oscars. Bunch of black people won, so I'm always happy about that. That was great to see that happen. Historical night. Spike Lee
Was amazing. That was funny.
Spike, man, won. That's what I'm talking about. Finally,
Wasn't it? It was great to have Samuel and give it to him. That was like it couldn't get any better than that.
Couldn't get any better.
Yeah, but he seemed a little upset. I mean, what I saw, I did see he won for Black Klansman. But then he had I don't know if he had a monologue or something up there while he was receiving an award where he was talking about how last time he was up for something, every time somebody's driving, he loses.
Oh, no. That was after. That was
after
the awards. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was after the awards. So he was nominated, Black Klansman was nominated for 3 things. I want to say it was Best Screenplay Adaptation, which is what Spike won for, which is shared with 2 other people.
Mm-hmm.
They were also nominated for Film of the Year or whatever the thing is. And then there was
Best Picture.
Best Picture, and then Best Director, which was Spike as well, but only 1 for 1.
All good.
One of 3. Don't want people to be
That's good though. One of 3. He's been going for years. He should have won on Malcolm X, but it's okay.
He wasn't even nominated for Malcolm X.
I know, that's crazy. That was an amazing movie cinematically.
He was nominated for Do the Right Thing, and then that's the year that Driving Miss Daisy won.
Right.
That reference was to when he said that every time somebody's driving somebody, he loses.
Right.
That's deep.
I just got it now.
Yeah, which film of the year ended up being Green Book.
Right.
That was Listen, they cleaned house though. Green Book. I'm not mad at it. I mean, I'm mad at how they changed it around to not be about the person that the orchestra person who's playing his story. It's all about Vigo, but it was still,
Vigo. Yeah,
I'm so happy that they got awards, but I was kind of like, that's not the Green Book is not about this person. It's about the culture that was trying to survive. It's not about the random guy driving them around. But
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, and they only won 2 awards. They won Mahershala Ali won for Best Supporting Actor, which was crazy, right? Because you thought that he was the main actor.
Right? Green Book.
Yep. And then yeah, Green Book, right? Right. Which Vigo was nominated for Best Actor, but didn't get it. And then they won Best Picture.
Wow.
But my opinion was, look, it was a political awards, because if you look at the number of brown people, both black and Hispanic, that won.
Regina.
Regina King. Yeah.
Regina King. Yeah,
man. Absolutely. Regina King. But the number of people between Hispanic and black that won, and then the movie that wins Best Picture is a movie about us identifying our differences and loving one another and realizing that we need to respect each other. And then you look at, I think it was the Academy's way of sending a message to the country. And then remember we had blackout. We had the blackout. Was that last year? Or year before?
Last year.
It was last year.
Yep. So
that's good, man. You're seeing a change in other times, man, and the Academy is catching up with the rest of the world. I guess I should say.
Yeah.
So Kenny, man, first podcast, man. I want you to introduce yourself to the world. Give us a little bit of background, man, so we can go ahead from there.
What do you need to know? I'll tell you everything.
Man, we want your social security number, accounts, and
leave one number out. I'm not sure where you want to leave it out. Get one number and leave it out.
We can get a couple scams going. Everything. What you got? Nah, man. Tell us where you from, man. What you
born and raised in New York. Still living here, Queens. Went to the U, of course. That's a nice connection I have with a few people there. That's right, all day. What I do now, I'm a career advisor right now at Berkeley College in New York City. I do business development, do workshops, and I don't know, what else you need?
He's a father.
By nationality, my father, I got 2 kids, a 5-year-old daughter, 10-year-old son. What else? Nationality? Where
we talked about it. Nigerian? You say he was Nigerian?
Nigerian and Guyanese.
Hey, Kadu.
Yeah.
So with the business development, I remember you do there's some nonprofit stuff in there, right? Correct.
So in my past, I've done a lot of work with nonprofits. Now my current role doesn't really put me in that realm, but I have that in my background.
Making money now.
Can't leave a
He
little.
said,
I don't know about that.
Can't leave the little people behind, man.
But I stay connected to them. I can't even lie. I stay connected to them because my passion really is about youth development and the population I used to work with. So that's a very big pull for me. I think that's where I love to keep myself, even though I am currently in this role. But I always stay connected to that, and I'll do that forever. A lot of my workshops that I do are geared towards young African American and males, females.
With the youth development, man, what is the single most thing that you try to get across to them at this point?
I try to get them to believe in themselves for the most part, because I think that a lot of them, at least the population that I've been working with, don't really see what a lot of people term as success. So I try to teach them what that is, and that could be a lot of different things to different people. But, I think through my workshops and trainings, they're all experiential. Everything I do is hands-on because, I feel like you learn better by participating in whatever that activity is. And I just try to get them to really know how to dress, how to write resumes, how to communicate with each other. A big thing is public speaking. That's one of my pulls, really, public speaking, because I know, they always say people would rather die, before they stand up in front of a crowd and speak. So I get them to have a lot of confidence in themselves and really get out there and be able to speak.
But Kenny in the cipher.
I was. So what's the icebreaker for that, man? Because getting teenagers, it sounds like you work with mostly teenagers, right?
16 to 24.
So 16 to 24-year-olds. What's the icebreaker to get somebody like that who has no public speaking experience to get out of that shell and get up there and start speaking in front of a group of people?
So actually the big part of it is the fact that they're part of a group. So I really try to start at levels where they're in groups. So I would put them in maybe groups of 4 to 5 people, get them to work together on some type of topic that they feel is important, that they feel is an issue that they're dealing with. And they get all of them together, and everybody's a participant, nobody's a leader. They can nominate a speaker or two speakers, but everyone has a chance to speak and get up in front of everybody, but they have the support of the other people behind them. So it's not you by yourself all of a sudden just being thrust in front of a group of people. You have your group that you worked on that with, and if you stumble, they should be there to pick you up. And then after a while, break it down to two. Then you break it down to just them being in front of a group, you know.
Nice. So, and you yourself has been public speaking for how long?
I'd say 18 years, maybe 18, 20. Yeah.
Mike, go ahead, drop a word on him, man. See what he got.
Radio station. Sorry, 2 words.
Wait, what?
Oh, so a couple episodes ago, we ran a cipher, right? So we did this Motivation 101 challenge.
Yeah.
With Jay Dace and Carol, since they are our public speakers on the team. So adding you to the bunch, we running the cipher. So Mike loves the cipher, and so we give you a word. You got 60 seconds to give your speech, your spiel, whatever, with that word, and we kind of go from there.
So I have to talk about a radio station. Is that what you did, Mike?
Yeah, go.
Okay. Okay, seriously. What is a radio station? A radio station is a platform where people have the opportunity to showcase their talents. They come to the radio station, and at the radio station, they can either do something where they speak. Some people come to that radio station and they, they could sing, or people come to the radio station where they're able to just talk about a product that they might have and, promote something. So it depends on what their strength is or what they're trying to get out to the masses. So if they come to the radio station and they're singers, you pass the microphone to them, let them sing a few bars. The people can judge them and say, this is great, or let's get some work on that. Or they can come to the radio station and say, I'm selling hair products and I want everybody to buy them. And I hope you buy into them, log on to my website, do whatever you need to do. I think that's it. I don't know how long I've gone. I could keep going or I could stop. What do you want?
Mike, what'd you say?
Good enough. Mic drop.
No, good deal, man. Kenny, we glad to have you, man. Look forward to you being on the podcast more in the future, man, giving your expert perspective on all of the views that we have here on the 13th floor.
Have you ever worked in a radio station, Kenny?
I see why you did that. Yes,
Exactly.
I did work at a radio station. Actually, at the University of Miami, I was on WVUM, the hip hop shop with Darnella Dunham.
Very true.
Yeah, my name was Sounds of Blackness. I was on there every night with Thursday nights with Darnella Dunham.
Wasn't Sounds of Blackness
A group.
Yes.
a group?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
I was young. I was in college.
Find the cassette tapes, sir. We find the cassette tapes. We got you on record.
I don't have any of those. If you find those, I want one.
Oh, he knows where they are.
Oh yeah, I know where they are. I'm going through them one by one. I'm going through them one by one.
Oh, what? I definitely want to get a copy of those.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's the connection, ladies and gentlemen. So Mike and Kenny and Carol all at the U at the same time, pretty much?
Yep.
So who was in the most trouble?
Trouble?
Carol.
Trouble?
See that guy with the head there? That guy right there with the headset and the mic?
Yes.
That's you, Mike. That guy right there.
We know Mike's story though.
The guy with the gold boots. That's how I always remember Mike.
Oh man, why
the gold boots?
Come back to the gold boots, man.
Yeah, we go on mute.
It always comes back to the gold boots.
The gold boots. I always remember Mike with the gold boots for sure.
Having a great time.com. Easy, man. Well, yeah, like I said, man, glad to have you. We're gonna have plenty of trips down memory lane. I see. So, fellas, man, I'm glad you all are here. I want to talk about.
We're glad to be here.
Yeah, man. I really want
What
you
a
guys.
time to be alive.
J Dace, what you got, man? You add to that?
Today.
TGIT.
TGIT?
He said,
What is
thank
that?
God it's today.
Right.
Thank God it's today. I haven't heard that one
Oh,
before.
that's a new one.
That is a new one. You got to coin that. T-shirt?
T-shirt.
T-shirt.
But yeah, man, I want to talk about my last couple of weeks, man. So for those who haven't heard it before, and the guys are familiar with it, I'm applying for a cannabis, like a processing license in the state of Maryland for medical cannabis. And we embarked upon this journey a couple of months ago, starting around like November, December, right? And it's been crazy because as a startup, there's just so many things that go into it. We hit on a lot of them last week with the vision and the structure and all of the things that you need to consider, digesting everything, emotionally stable and whatnot. And so we've been getting ourselves situated and, forming the business and everything. And we've come into contact with different people and had different contracts on the table at different points of time. Some have come and gone, some are still there. But particularly not last week, 2 weeks ago, I get this phone call about 1 o'clock in the morning from somebody we've been in contact with semi-consistently throughout this process and kind of helping us along. And the phone call goes along the lines of, hey, there's this opportunity. We got this capital investor that's going to be bankrolling an entire operation for you guys. And not only will it be on the processing side, it takes it a step further and allows us to grow. Or grow cannabis to vertically integrate the business, cut costs and things of that nature. And immediately excited about this opportunity because it costs a tremendous amount of money to get into this industry in Maryland. Highly regulated industry with little to no guideline or template to really follow. So here it is, somebody saying they can bankroll an operation and provide you with that guidance and experience, expertise to help, streamline your process, make sure you're going along the right way. And so we get that, we take it back. I take it back to the team. We talk about it and we're, dumb excited to see what that looks like. And then the next day, we go back to not even the negotiating table yet, but I start we talking a lot about what's going to go into this. And some of the things that go into it, we, I guess, didn't really consider. So when you talk about somebody bankrolling an entire operation, the equity, share, that kind of, it's huge. And us being a startup, young gunners, we know what we want. We know what we want to do. We want to have a lot more control over our business, over our brand, and even the equity portion. So it's a hard sell for us at that point in time to eat, less than a controlling share because we've done a lot of the groundwork. And, we personally feel like if you're just bringing this money to the table, we can kind of figure it out, but we don't want to lose control. We don't want to lose our identity just because somebody is coming to the table with this large amount of money. And so at that point, things kind of break down a little bit. And, we find ourselves in a situation where can't really take advantage of this opportunity because there are just some non-negotiables on the table that we can't get over. And so now, it takes us back to a spot where we really have to look at, what we have, what we're building and how to navigate this space, because here we are in an industry that requires a lot of capital investment. And, for us to need the amount of money that we need, we're talking into the millions of dollars. The cost of that capital and what we're going to have to give up is something that we really got to start going back to and considering, right? But not only that, it's how you prepare to be in the midst of these situations and, these negotiations, because that was something that we hadn't seen beforehand. We got really excited. So like Mike said last week, that emotional stability almost goes out of the door, man. Like I'm one to tell you, when I saw it, I was like, this is it. This is a gift from God. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking, hey, we finna do this thing. Everything just lined up in this moment. And then it didn't. And then it wasn't there. And so it takes us back to a place where we really have to reorganize, restructure ourselves and our mode of thinking, and then re-energize, because that's a huge hit as well going on that process, or going through that process. And so like at this point, it just takes me back to the lessons that I feel like I learned in the first one, being that emotional stability piece, because those offers will probably come a dime a dozen at this stage in the game. But, we can't like get too high or get too low. Like you said, Mike, got to be able to navigate that space. But the other thing, I think what was most important was being ready for those situations. because I can't necessarily say that we were ready for that situation if it hadn't ended up materializing into something else. But now we know what it looks like, or what we need to have in our bag, I guess, to sit down with these types of people that are going to be negotiating these large sums of money and looking into getting, certain shares of equity and things of that nature.
Yeah, I think the biggest piece that kind of sounds from it is that I think you were ready, is because you were ready enough to realize that you had to say no. So kind of getting to that point, the hardest piece in any type of thing that you're doing on your own is to be able to say no to an opportunity that you think was God given to you. To realize that perhaps it wasn't you to say yes that was the God given part. It's the part for you to say no, to recognize that it doesn't match what your full vision was, because you got to give something up that you're not really willing to give up.
Right.
And oftentimes people don't make that sacrifice because they say, I may never get this opportunity again. So you take it, and then you end up in a bad situation and you end up having nothing. Whereas if you say, you know what, no, we're good, that blessing is coming right after it because you were willing to say no to this one. So everything is a test, and that's why I said, like, don't get too high, don't get too low, because you can be high and say, yay, 1 o'clock in the morning, we got it, and by 1 o'clock the next morning, you're like, oh, like, nah, I'm not, I'm not doing it.
That's 100% though. It's definitely difficult to not get high, especially when you want it. You know what I mean? And you've been working hard, you've been putting in these hours, and you do get excited, like Brett said. I think at the same time though, you can a way to look at it. I'm big on perspective, so that's one of the principles I try to teach people. So one way to look at it though is that they did invest in you in the sense of they expressed interest. So they saw value like how you see value, or how the team see value. So the fact that we had a company who was willing to bankroll that level of money, they obviously saw something in us, and you can theoretically, like take that to the bank, if you will, quote unquote. So I think that's one way that to look at that.
I wanted to control it too. Not like I just want to give you a little bit, like I want it. Like, give me what you got.
Yeah, and I mean, that's definitely something to build on, man. I think that's a big motivating factor for us right now, is because if one came and it was out of the dead of night, then the second one can come just like that, and the third one can come just like it. And this was someone who knew a little bit about the operation, but hasn't seen, a full pitch deck, hasn't seen, what the niche really is. So, when you take those things into consideration and realize what you're really, really working with, it's like you really got something special. So I can't just really sell it, and give it away. Now, if I can get in and be under the right circumstances, then all right, let's make that make sense. If this is a stepping stone to something greater, then maybe I can figure that out. But I can't just give it away and then, lose all of what I help, or what we help build up.
I think that, one of the things you got to think about is that because you all, one, your identity, what the big picture is. And with that emotional piece, what oftentimes happens is that we get excited about the money. Right. And that money makes you feel like, ooh, and then you stop negotiating on the business aspect of it. And now you're negotiating on your identity, right? And who you actually are as the person having the idea, or as a company. And you lose your right to now have that identity and that control of what happens. And this company obviously they're experienced, right? So they see the value that you all have and the money that they're going to invest. They're already looking at the return on investment and realizing that they wanted to get you all early, and were hoping that you didn't have enough awareness of yourself that you would now just fly to the money. So, man, kudos to you guys for not just jumping at it and rolling with it, because a lot of people would feel like, oh, we got in early and look what we got already, but what could you have had?
Exactly. And
what would you have left on the table? And that's the part where a lot of people go astray in their goals and in their visions. And look, there's going to be ebbs and flows in everything that we do, right? And if you don't experience that low part, you'll never really understand the true value of that high part. So no pun intended.
Yeah, man.
Mic drop.
Right.
And hopefully that high part comes soon, man. I mean, we working diligently. Pun intended. We working diligently, man, to craft something. And I mean, it's a lot more than money for us. It's really about the medicine, and then it's really about what happens after the medicine. You know, the things that we can do within the communities that are most affected by the war on drugs, with the minorities who aren't able to get into this industry. You know, we want to be a face of that and then help that along the way. So I think any company that can't see that and the value of that, you know, it's not a place that we want to be anyway.
There it is. Yeah. When you can say no, that's when you know you're grown. You're ready to go from there.
But with that being said, make sure you guys got your checkbooks ready, because in a couple of weeks, we're going to start those pitch meetings, the first round of investors. So we're going to shoot them emails out to make sure y'all get a copy of that presentation or can log in and see that stream.
I got a Ziploc bag of quarters.
No pun intended.
Hey. I got some cryptocurrency ready to be invested somewhere else.
Rich Russ was here, man.
I got 5 on it.
Everybody's dropping.
Hold on, Tom Mike. Bankrolling half of the operation. There it is.
Everybody's dropping dimes tonight, aren't we?
That's funny. That is hilarious. But man, look, let's look at the real world experience of this, right? Because we're talking about this one situation, but how many things could you apply this to? I mean, you can apply this to people that had New Year's resolutions. Oh, I'm going to lose weight this year. And they lost 2 pounds and got super emotionally excited about it and decided to celebrate that 2 pounds by eating a bunch of ice cream and some steak sandwiches. And what happened? They gained 8 pounds off of that celebration. So it's all about keeping that emotional. Remember, attach the emotion to the end result, not necessarily the small wins in between. Don't get me wrong. You need to recognize those small wins, those small accomplishments in between to keep the motivation going to get to the end result, right? And then in most cases, we all know that when you get to that end result, you realize that there's more. So you've got to keep that in check and build in your benchmarks ahead of time. When you build in the benchmarks ahead of time, when you hit it, it's no surprise to you, and you don't end up having that overreaction of emotion, and you're better able to handle it.
Absolutely. Mr. Faison, man, we coming your way, man. We got to get that Arts Corner in this week.
Wow, I feel like we have so much more left to go. I was like just learning and enjoying. All right, so I missed last week, and Kay did some great impersonations of me, what I would have said at the time being, and you were 100% correct. You all know that even if I don't own it, I listen to it and watch on YouTube, which I sent my little comment that I was like, hey man, my Friday upload isn't ready yet, but we got it on Saturday. So hopefully you all went there and saw it. I had to listen to it in the car. But to the corner this week, continuing on with that process. So, you know, you're going to get your taxes back. And this is the time of year where people tend to, like they were saying, go ball out, do something crazy, or, you know, waste a little money here and there on things. What I challenge you to do is to take 80% of that refund check that you're going to get. Doesn't matter how much it is. Open a bank account up that's not your main account and let it sit there for about 6 months. And then when you're ready to use it, you'll feel it. If you get it right now in your hand and you get it straight from your refund person provider, hopefully Comprotex. If you're not using that, then you get it back in, you have it in your hand, it'll burn a hole in your hand. But if you put it in an account that you're not going to look at, I suggest an Ally Bank account, a Capital One 360 account, something that's going to require you to wait a day or two to withdraw it back out again. Let it sit there. Let it get some interest. And when you're ready to use it, you'll be actually ready to use it versus it being used in the moment, in the spare moment.
80% of the refund?
80%. Take it out. You don't need it.
Somebody just felt that. They said,
yes, 80%. Because you know what? Think about it. 80%. First of all, you should never be dependent on your tax refund. That is not income for you. And if you were doing your taxes properly, you wouldn't get any money back. So the fact that you're getting money back means that you're not properly accounting for your taxes or doing it in the beginning of the year. Your W-2 is messed up. So W-4.
Say it again.
So that is actual your money you had in a savings account with the government who got nothing for it. So now take that money and invest in yourself. And if you can take 80% of that and put it aside, you already started an investment in yourself. Emergency funds, everything can be started with that 80%. I'm giving you money to spend. You got 20%. But have the dedication and challenge yourself to push yourself to get 80% in the bank account and not touch it. That's going to be the hardest 80% ever. But when you see it in 6 months and you look back at it, you're going to be happy you put it aside.
That's an extreme challenge right there, man. I don't think you can put that in a regular bank account. You got to put that in some
That's
IRA.
why you put a side account. You put
Something that's going to make it difficult to pull out. Something that's going to tax you like 30%.
It should be your money. You put in IRA, then it's stuck there. You put it in a Roth IRA, you're stuck there. You want to put it in a good savings account. Right now, Ally Bank is good. PNC Bank, if it's not in your area, PNC Bank's even like a good 2.25%, but only if they're not in your area. Ally Bank is great.
You're saying Ally, right? That's A-L-L-Y?
A-L-L-Y, yes, Ally with the Y.com. They're on 2.2% interest on your money with no minimums. You just put it in there. And then there is Marcus by Goldman Sachs is giving 2.25. Another bank accounts online, and they all will give you can deposit quickly, but at least a day or two before you can get it back in your account. So you're going to get that impulse buy. You can't do it because you got to wait for it. So now you're planning to use that.
So I have a question about that tax liability you were talking about. So with your personal taxes and getting a refund, if you do it right, you wouldn't get money back, right? So you would be getting the right amount throughout the year. Now I've heard that sense for like a business, you want your tax liability to be as close to zero as possible, but how does that translate over into your personal finances? Because I know like that is something that a lot of us look forward to, given that, we may put our deductions to 7 or 0 or whatever works for us throughout the year.
Yeah, I mean, talk to your CPA. You definitely should talk with someone to make sure you're doing it properly. So we're not CPAs on this podcast, but we can only give you the advice and lessons we have over time. But you definitely, most of us, and this is just general, it's not just black or white. It's like most people of our age, I'm going to say probably 50 to below, have either put 0 or 1 on W-4. Not thinking about, I have a kid, I'm going to have a dependent here, or I'm going to do this, or I'm the head of the household, my family doing this. There are many deductions, and I'm not a genius on a new tax code. That's why we have Mike here for that. But new tax code is insane. But if you were properly starting off the year with your W-4 that comes in properly, you legitimately adjust your paycheck to the day now versus what you're getting. Your taxes will adjust based on what you're putting in there. So if you're putting in 0, you get the maximum out, you're gonna get a big check at the end of the year, cool. But all that money you put aside, you're getting nothing for it. They're holding it for you in your bank account and their account, using it and giving you back it at 0 interest versus you doing it properly. Now, if you're not good with money and you're gonna do some taxes differently, blah, blah, then yeah, go ahead and adjust yourself, make it safe. If you're working for the CPA, they're gonna tell you, this is what you put down here. This is how you do this. This is what you got to do for your the charitable deductions. They break it down for you for the whole year, so that by the time it comes, tax December, you're either writing off stuff, you're either going to donate stuff, you're making it work so that it works on the back of the end. But it's all about properly going to CPA. And as we start businesses on the podcast, we kind of all get together as groups. You're going to have accountants that are going to be able to manage your business as well as your personal to help the business grow better. So this is where you get into mindset. You're no longer thinking about a sole entity as yourself. You're now a corporation. You are the corporation that is now funneling money from your corporation. So it goes deeper and deeper. And getting that first LLC or first sole proprietorship or for a corporation starts that role.
Facts.
So this segment has been brought to you by Compro Tax, where we handle individuals, small business, corporations, nonprofits. We provide you with free electronic filing, direct deposit, Walmart Visa money cards. And if you are interested, you can contact them at area code 216-282-4873 or email at comprofinancial@gmail.com. Compro Tax, where your taxes are simple, accurate, and quick.
Facts.
That was
awesome.
amazing.
That was awesome.
That's great.
That was freaking awesome.
And it's literally, and it's almost like you can see the tax code being that message. Like,
Yeah.
stop living off your tax refund. Get a job or go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, other than that, if you need it, we'll give it to you, but stop. That's it. Like, there's no other explanation to people being upset about the refunds because they plan on using it for a car. I plan on
Right.
this. I got all type of plans I'm doing for my code. No, stop it. Stop it.
It's the same when people get the bonuses. Oh man, I can't wait the bonus time. I'll get my bonus from work. I'm looking forward to this. I'm like, why? Like that's extra money you can use for something else that should not be something you're looking forward to.
Yeah.
That's to my wife, and she witnessed. So I'm like, do not count that bonus in. Oh, I only got this much this year. You should be happy you got that because you weren't expecting that. That is additional to what you needed. And if you're only getting it, then you've been doing the whole year wrong.
Yep, that's the credits are. Child tax credit.
Stop taking jobs based on the bonus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that bonus coming out taxed at 35, 40%.
Right.
So you're not even seeing all of
Get
it.
it. Like,
Yeah, it's horrible. J-Days, man, you got a fit tip this week, baby?
oh, no doubt, man. I really, like I said, I really want to focus on the mental and emotional side of it. So I want you to think about why you're eating before you eat. You know what I mean? Like what's driving the motion? What's driving the action? You know, are you doing it because you legit hungry? You know, are you doing it because you got a bad phone call? Are you doing it because you just, relationship season, Valentine's Day didn't go so well? You know, what's driving the action? And I think that when we really take the time to really think about those questions and challenge ourselves, we'll come out on top more frequently than not.
Absolutely. Mike, did you not gonna add to that?
I had a question. I had a question.
He looked deep in thought.
Yeah, so what if the answer to that is you're bored, but it's like 10:45 at night?
I think okay, that's a good question because eating isn't a pastime. You know what I mean? Food isn't just something you just do. Food is supposed to be energy. We eat so that we can do something. That's what it's designed to do. It's calories for a reason. A calorie is a measure of energy. So eating isn't something you just do because you're just having fun with it. And a lot of times we do that. We do mindless eating, and then next thing you know, we ate 1,500 calories, and 5, 10, 20, 30 pounds later, we're like, how the heck did we get here? But that's what I'm saying. If you really, before you put that, whatever it is, to your mouth and just ask yourself, well, what's driving this decision? What's driving this action? A lot of times you will realize that, I'm not really hungry. I'm just, like you said, bored. Or, maybe it is emotional, and I need to check that before I dive into this piece of cake, because the solution not at the bottom.
The other thing, Mike, man, we got to be careful, especially as men, eating after, 9 o'clock? Because that's when all of that acid reflux stuff starts kicking in, and, you start sitting on it. That's when them extra pounds come in.
So I've always thought about that in terms of people saying eating late. So what happens to the gentlemen, to the women, to whoever is working third shift, that 9 o'clock for them is their wake up time?
But they working though.
So I think it has to do with the fact that they are up and moving. So your metabolism doesn't slow down like it does when you sleep. So if you eat at 9 o'clock, go to sleep at 10:30.
Nothing's happening.
Right. And their circadian rhythm has probably been adjusted to work towards that. You know what I mean? So their whole shift has just kind of been, adjusted. And I feel like, I think a lot of people don't realize that we're humans are very adaptable. You know what I mean? So our bodies will get, okay, this is the program now, so I'll adjust to that. And 9:30, and you staying up till like 2 a.m. because you're working, like you said, you're moving, so you're good in that sense.
I can attest to that. Intermittent fasting, body's adjusted dramatically. Dramatic adjustment. So yes, that is very true. 2 to 10.
Okay, we need to work on that. Or I need to work on that.
There it is. Before we go to you, Coach K, I want to remind all of our listeners to subscribe to the podcast. You can get us on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, the videos on Vimeo and YouTube, Faison's favorite. Make sure you're following us on all social media platforms at 13th Floor, please. And get connected with us. Stay up. Let us know what you think. Leave it in the comments each and every episode. Coach K, what you got this week, sir?
closing this thing out, I want to remind people that just because you are not a company or you are not a corporation doesn't mean that you individually are not a brand. And if you don't know who you are and don't have values, then you will always sell yourself at a discount. So I encourage you to go out there. And if you think about the most elite brands, you never see them go on sale. They only go out of season. So if you continue to improve yourself, you will never be out of season, and you will not have to display the clearance rack version of yourself that just anybody off the street can come in and get you.
There it is, man. I
Bam.
like it. Fire. That's
Mic
it, ladies
drop.
and gentlemen. We done here on the 13th floor where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing.
It's got to be for closeouts.
The 13th floor.
Yeah.
The 13th floor.